Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday morning service. My name is Maya Horio, and I will be your service chair this morning. We are grateful for your presence. The service is being live streamed on Zoom and YouTube. On our Naijin today is our resident minister, Reverend Nariaki Hayashi. If you are new to Ekoji, you'll find in the back of each seat pocket this laminated guide, which will help you through the service and answer many questions that you may have regarding the service order, as well as the history and the essentials of Shin Buddhism. Our main priority is keeping our Sangha a safe place to hear the Dharma. Although we are very happy to see each other, please be mindful of each other's comfort levels. Please keep in mind the following policies. Keep your masks on at all times and be mindful of social distancing. We are allowed to chant along with Reverend Hayashi since we have a mask on. Thank you for your understanding. Reverend Hayashi will now lead us in opening meditation and recitation of the number 2.
Meditation provides us and prepares our mind to receive the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings. Please put your hands on your lap, lower your head slightly, close your eyes, and release tension from meditation. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
We will now sing the Vandana Tisarana, the three refuges. Please find the laminated sheet in the service book, and please rise. Please turn to page 33 in the service book, and we will now chant the psalms together. This morning, Reverend Ashley will give the Dharma message.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday service. So the other day I was watching YouTube, and I saw a documentary film series called Beyond Scared Straight. I believe many of you know this TV program. But this program profiles unique crime prevention programs aimed at deterring troubled teenagers from jail. So kids with misbehavior are sent to prison to get a glimpse of what their lives would be like if they continued down the paths they were on. And in the last scene of one of the series, after experiencing a frightening moment in the prison, the kids had the chance to meet their parents, to see their parents, and tell them what they have learned there. And if the parents find that their child has changed or seems to want to change their troubled life, then they're allowed to take home their kids. So this means if the parents did not see any change of heart in their children, the child will remain in the prison until they show that they have changed. However, at first, the kids didn't change their attitudes, but only blame on their parents for sending them to prison. It seemed that they didn't understand why they were sent to prison. The kids thought how unfair it was, and they were expressing how they, hate their parents for such punishment. After a while, they got over their anger and began to feel how, scary prison really is. The prisoners were not only scary, but they were, noisy, and the food was unpleasant, and the atmosphere was terrible. And this was when the kids got desperate to leave. And that was when they began to change. So their desperation was the seed to their aspiration to change. I kind of understand this because I experienced something similar. While watching this YouTube, I was reflecting on, my childhood. And as I mentioned before, I was born in Hawaii, but my parents were Japanese, so I had to, move to Japan when I was 8. And although I was born, to a Japanese parents, and technically my first language was Japanese, in Hawaii, most of the time I would speak English, like at school, at my sports club, my friends, and also with my older brother. I only knew a few words of Japanese, and no one in my class in Japan, when I went back to Japan, no one spoke English. So I had a difficult time adjusting to school. And with my poor Japanese, it was hard to communicate with the teacher. So it was so difficult to catch up with what the class was studying. And it was also difficult to share with classmates. So it was hard to make friends. There's this language barrier. And I always thought it was unfair, and I always wanted to go back to Hawaii. I really hated, my parents, and my anger expressed itself in bad behavior. So, I cut classes, I hung around with, the wrong people, and sometimes I stayed out all night. I thought I would not, forgive my parents. But seeing myself as a Buddhist minister right now, I realized that I did change. However, while I am uncertain when and how that happened, I do think my aspiration to change came from my desperation over my situation. I realized I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. I was afraid of what might happen if I kept doing what I was doing. I was especially afraid of what would happen if I continued to hate my parents. And this bothered me a lot. Through this experience, I realized I needed to change. In fact, I was desperate to change. So my desperation changed into my need, and my need changed into my aspiration. Now, we might usually think desperation as kind of a negative thing, but as you can see, it can be quite positive. In fact, desperation is not negative or even positive, but rather desperation and aspiration are two sides of the same coin, and they cannot be separate. However, if desperation and aspiration are the two sides of the same coin, desperation is the world acting on us, and aspiration is our response to it. Desperation is the world acting on us because we do not try to become desperate, right? The conditions around us makes us desperate. So the desperation is the world acting on us, and aspiration is our response to it. In this respect, the relationship between desperation and aspiration is very much like the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, reciting Namo Amida Butsu, as we do during service. Dr. Mark Uno, professor of Eastern Religion of University of Oregon, said, Namo Amida Butsu is the call of Amida Buddha within every person and their response to that call. Namo Amida Butsu is the call of Amida Buddha within every person and their response to that call. So Amida Buddha is the embodiment of the truth of enlightenment, that is wisdom and compassion. And in our denomination, Shin Buddhism, we follow Amida Buddha. So according to Dr. Uno, the Nembutsu is both Amida Buddha acting on us and our responding to that action. In other words, Amida's action and our response are two sides of the same coin. They can never be separate, and both are necessary. So the Nembutsu teach us how it may be that desperation and aspiration are also inseparable. The real problem then is trying to separate the two, which is just human judgment. Just as in the case of the Nembutsu, desperation and aspiration are interrelated. That is, as I and even children know, desperation is a gift, for it is the seed of our aspiration. Please join me in Gasho. By reciting the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, we are reminded what makes our individual lives even more meaningful, and we are also reminded the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings in times of need. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei. It is now time for the ritual of Oshoko, or the burning of incense. This is a time to quietly contemplate and reflect on the impermanence of life. You may have noticed the board and Reverend Hayashi are restarting the practice of the burning of incense. The practice involves drawing incense from a shared incense bowl, and we understand that individual comfort levels may differ. So we offer this option to those who are comfortable doing so, but note that the ritual is not required. We invite you to come forward to the front table, offer gasho, and if you wish, practice the burning of the incense. And then also, should you wish, place any dana, which is our offering of gratitude to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, in the bowl on the table. Please approach mindfully with safe distancing. Once finished, please return to your seats via the side aisles. And for those who wish to use the hand sanitizer, we've also placed hand sanitizer on either of the side aisles. Reverend Hayashi will now lead us in closing meditation and recitation of the Nembutsu.
Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida.
It's now time for our weekly announcements. Please, everyone's welcome to join us for our Dharma discussion group that meets immediately after service. Those who are already on Zoom, we invite you to stay in the Zoom room. For those in person, we welcome everyone to just pull up a chair around the computer, and we will just chat about what resonated with us from today's Dharma talk. Our Buddhist movie discussion group will also meet today at 2 p.m. in the Ekoji Zoom room. You can find the link to join either in your email inboxes or on our website. And in March, the Buddhist Churches of America National Council meeting will have workshops that take place the first 2 weekends in March. So you can find additional details in the schedule of events also on Ekoji's website or in your email inbox. We're still seeking volunteers for our Obolin Planning Committee. For those who haven't been with us for previous festivals, this has been one of Ekoji's, one of our largest fundraisers in the past. We're trying to bring it back this year. It's been on hold for the last couple of years with the pandemic. So we have just started planning. We welcome everyone to join us if you're interested in volunteering for that as well. So our next planning meeting will be Saturday, March 19th at 8 a.m. Via Zoom. So a nice bright and early, and then you can get on with your Saturday. And then I think, as many of you may have noticed, we have stopped taking RSVPs now for our in-person services. We welcome everyone to join us on Sundays in person or continue to join through Zoom. We do ask that you be mindful, though, of each individual's social distancing comfort levels, but we are excited to slowly start to return things a little bit more to normal. So I think those are our announcements for today. That's it.
Namo